Wiggle, wiggle.
Like.
Hey Blitzers, the Muffin here. I'm going to be doing a ranking of all of the tier 9 tanks going from worst to best. I did this with tier 10s and I got a lot of views on it, so I figured, hey, why not do it with all the other tiers in Blitz as well. So a lot of tanks to cover, but first up, the worst performing tier 9 tank in Blitz is the Leopard Prototype with a 47.45% win rate. Lightly armored tanks are very difficult to play, so that's probably why that ranks so low. Next up is the Centurion Mk 7.1 with a 48.12% win rate. You know, okay of a tank. I don't mind it that bad. It's got a fairly solid turret. I was actually kind of surprised this one ranked. I guess it is kind of a big tank, but that's where that one ranks. Next one up is the Type 61 with a 48.20% win rate. I actually don't have this, so I don't have any feedback on it. Next is the E50 at a 48.24% win rate. Haven't played this one in a long time, but I'm actually kind of surprised. It's fairly well armored. It's been in the game for a long time, which more players probably own it, so that's probably why the win rate's a little lower on this one. Next up is the M46 Patton with a 48.56% win rate. Also not a bad tank, but and also one that's been in the Blitz for a long time. Next up is the Conqueror at a 48.58% win rate. Been a long time since I've played with this one as well. And so I actually can't remember what it's been like to play with it. Next up is the M103 with a 48.64% win rate. Not a bad tank. I didn't like it when I first got it, but the more I play with it, I actually don't mind it. Next is the Jagdtiger at a 48.67% win rate. A bit slower in traverse, has an excellent, just amazing cannon with DPM accuracy. But yeah, that traverse and that maneuverability can get you in trouble. Next up is the IS-8 at a 48.96% win rate. Very light lead armored heavy. I see a lot of players getting themselves in trouble with this one, so this one doesn't actually surprise me with how low that one ranks. Next one up is the AMX50 120 at a 49.36% win rate. It's got some fairly light armored, which probably is the reason why this one ranks a bit lower. Next is the Tortoise at a 49.54% win rate, which this one, when it first came out, was just amazing. It still is a good tank. However, they have nerfed it. It's been a while, but that's where that one ranks. Next up is the T54E1 with a 49.55% win rate. Good tank. I like it. That autoloader is pretty good. Next is the E75 with a 49.55% win rate. Very good tank. Pretty well armored. It's been in the game for a very, very long time, one of the first. So probably with it having so many players, it could be why that's influencing the win rate. Next up is the WZ120 at a 49.65% win rate. I don't have this tank, but some of the reviews I've seen on it, a lot of people say some really, actually at the tier 10's better. So the WZ120, I'm not 100% sure on. Maybe let me know your feedback in the comments. Next is the VK45.02 B with a 49.71% win rate. Has a better frontal armor profile than the E75, which could be making it rank a little bit higher on the win rate. Next up is the STI or the ST1 at a 50.02% win rate. Good tank in my opinion, very solid. So I was a little surprised this one kind of ranked a little bit lower on the totem pole as well. Next up, the T54 at a 50.11% win rate. Overall, a fairly solid medium, not bad. Been in the game for a long time. Next is the WZ111 Model 1.4 with a 50.36% win rate. Don't have this one, so I can't really give any feedback on it. The Mauschen at a 50.52% win rate. Very similar to the mouse, but that cupola on top is a pretty bad weakness on it. Next up is the Batchat 25 TAP at a 50.56% win rate. Typically, more heavily armored vehicles will rank higher than lightly armored vehicles because the lightly armored vehicles tend to be harder to play. But I was surprised that the Batchat ranked higher than the Mauschen, but that flexibility and maneuverability is amazing with those light tanks. So that's the Batchat at that 50.56. The T30 at a 50.57. I love the T30. I think it's an incredible tank. The next is the SU-122-54. Amazing DPM. 50.69% win rate. Next one is the Waffenträger Aufpanzer at a 50.94% win rate, among one of the most played tanks in Blitz, actually, and a very good tank. Next up is the Object 704 with a 51.01% win rate. A little bit more armor than the Waffenträger. Does deal a lot of damage, but I was actually surprised that one ranked maybe a little higher just because of the flexibility and maneuverability of the Waffenträger. Next is the WZ111 GFT at a 51.54% win rate. The funny thing about this one is the Tier 10 just Destroyer actually ranks as the worst performing in terms of win rate. So that's interesting. This one actually ranks a bit higher. Next is the T55A at a 51.76% win rate. Don't have it, can't really give any feedback. The Kpfpz 70 at a 51.89% win rate. Not a bad tank. I do like it. It suffers on the hull armor. Not a whole lot of gun depression. Next is the Prototipo Standard B at a 51.91% win rate. Pretty good tank. The auto reloader is pretty good on it and good maneuverability. Next up is the T92E1 at a 52.18% win rate. Also among one of the top 5 tanks played in Blitz currently. Good tank. I'd actually prefer not using the missiles. They just recently had a nerf on this tank, more so with the Sheridan. Next up is the AMX 50 Foch at a 52.43% win rate. Good maneuverability, frontal armors, like it's not bad, it's okay. Next up is the FE4004 Conway at a 52.53% win rate. Don't have it. My brother has it. He says he's a little disappointed at it. Its accuracy is not great from what he tells me, but let me know in the comments below. Next up is the K91 at a 52.68% win rate. A good tank, a tank I like in my opinion. Decent maneuverability, decent armor. Next one is the Hori Type 2 at a 52.86% win rate. Just have this one, really not bad, decent armor, decent maneuverability. Next up is the T95. I actually was really surprised this one ranks so high on win rate at a 53.05% win rate. They did nerf the armor a little while back, and but this one has actually ranked number 3 in terms of one of the best performing win rate tanks in the game. So that's interesting. Next up, I actually completely see why this is one of the best tier 9s, because I honestly love this tank, is the AMX 31ER prototype at a 53.79% win rate. This tank is actually one of my favorite tier 9 tanks. Love that tank. Great turret armor, great maneuverability. It's a really good tank. I can totally see why this ranks as number 2. However, no, the one that's ranking as the best tier 9 currently is the new tech tree that actually just came out, the British line, the Vickers Cruiser, at a 56.32% win rate, which most likely a lot of the players that have this right now are those that are spending money getting to them, more experienced players. With that one being a lightly armored tank and more players getting that over time, I can see that one drop. My personal opinion, I mean, I don't have the Vickers Cruiser, but I can definitely tell you the AMX 31ER prototype definitely deserves that place. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the vid. This is the Muffin here. You guys stay cool and keep tanking.